we're just gonna do this now and start all over again because it said like hit go live and it had then gone back. So there's a chance afterwards, people, and this is gonna be really odd, where you're going to see two versions of a stream. The first bit will have 7 minutes of us talking, but you guys watching live are going to be like, "Where are they?"
They're gonna be so confused.
Yeah. Hi everyone. We've been doing pleasantries for 7 minutes. We're not going to redo them, but we can talk about stuff anyway. How's Trups?
I have no idea, but I was watching. I'm like, we don't have all of the people in the world who watch us, but
we usually have
nobody in chat.
No, right.
That's shocking.
I'd hit the go live on the YouTube studio, and it did have end stream there as a button instead when you hit go live, and then I've tabbed back, and it says it then turns back to go live again. So there's going to be an extra stream created afterwards. By accident.
Oh, great.
It's fine. It'll just be. I'll delete it. It won't matter. Hi everyone. Welcome to the politics thing. Yeah. It's gonna be slightly shorter now because of that.
Just barely though.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all good. We're back to normal standard timing. I know obviously last week might have been a bit disorienting for some to be an hour earlier, but you Americans have caught up at last, which is fine. Next year you guys go before us, I believe, and it's about 4 weeks if memory serves. How is Trups anyway?
Just going through life, watching people do stupid things, as always.
Yeah. Just before we started, air quotes, Trups have mentioned non-news, but kind of blown to look like news. I mean, I saw something. I mean, these are non-news things, really. But I saw someone say, if to Hillary Clinton, if Trump wins in 2024, what happens? And she says it will literally be the end of America.
Well, that's presuming a lot.
I think it's quite funny, personally.
Well, the only reason I say it's presuming a lot is because that's what they said about her.
I mean, it would be, because she'd have sold off everything else that glows to another country.
Correct.
Silly bitch. She tickles me.
Indeed.
How's the week been for Trups? Has it been good, or have you just been going through the motions?
I'm going through the motions. That's genuinely what's up with me.
Yeah.
But how about you? What have you been up to?
I have mostly been working for December, prepping YouTube videos, playing on my guitar, and trying to play some video games here and there. More live content. Sorry, I'm reading the chat there. Yeah. But yeah, and that's what they said last time, Shadowband. Yes, in the context of Trump, yes, they did. It was hilarious. I remember. It was cringe. But yeah, I've just been working mostly and getting soaked mostly because a lot of we had residual dregs of a storm here.
Fun.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal, but I don't really mind. I mean, I got a pair of trainers in the airing cupboard still, but it's okay. I've got another pair. We're fine. I think I should just buy some waterproofs at some point.
True.
But I can't actually afford it. Waterproofs in this... The only close shop here that sells waterproofs is a shop called Mountain Warehouse. The prices are fucking huge. I'm sorry. I can't afford that amount for a pair of trousers I would wear a fair bit, but I would only really... I wouldn't be able to justify that expense right now. Which annoys me, because I think I kind of need them.
Understandable.
But otherwise, yeah, all good. Yeah, it's been a nice, quiet week. As people prep in my family for the Merry Meggy Moistmas season.
Yes, well, we have like Thanksgiving in like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, you Americans have got something coming up, haven't you?
Yeah. It's see, I forget a lot in general, but especially this. Like holidays are always. I feel like I'm like not a real person.
That's understandable. I mean, not all of us are going to be as interested in that, are we?
Well, I mean, if I had plans, because of course the wife's job now is something that limits one's ability to travel for the holidays, despite what others may believe. It turns out it does not matter if you are a person who works for a living. You don't necessarily get time off just because. Even if the just cause is holidays.
There's somebody,
sucks.
one of the mods on my server, American. She has a job where they don't pay for holiday time at all, and I find that to be quite strange. A concept to not have paid time off. Okay, I'm self-employed, so I don't have that, but
true. Yeah, but you're always working.
Yeah, true, but I at least I know it's because the buck stops at me. In the instance where you're working for a company, I generally think that you should have paid holiday.
That's fair.
I might be wrong though. Who knows at this point?
I mean, most places do have that though. Like, you wouldn't be wrong to assume that.
Yeah.
It's just it's not always how it plays out.
True. It's just an interesting. It's just interesting to me, I think, because I see it quite a lot at the moment. I don't.
Yeah, unfortunate. But to be fair, with inflation the way that it's going, I can't be really surprised.
Yeah, many aren't going to want to take time off at the moment, are they?
No, they need the money as desperately as they can.
Yep. I am 100%. I understand that, and yes, if you have to, I get it. Hello, YouTube chat, by the way. Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Don't mind us. We're not entirely sure what we're doing today.
No, clearly not. We are batting 1,000, doing the best work.
Yeah. So I noticed. We'll start with what I did notice. I saw that there was a few articles about Trump clashing with a judge during a New York testimony this week, where he defended his family's business and had to testify in a civil fraud trial, which is in New York. It was on the stand for 4 hours. Prosecutors are seeking a $250 million fine and severe business restrictions because they believe the judge has already ruled that the business his Trump organization has committed fraud, and this trial would determine the penalties. They're undoubtedly going to go for $250 million. The judge is going to rule in that favor anyway. Everyone knows it because this judge is not impartial.
Right. Yes, and we have talked about this for a couple of weeks now, because there's always been an interesting, there's always at least some interesting development in that case.
Yeah.
But yes, they were seeking, in particular, what happened this week that really pushed a lot of buttons was they finally put Trump on the stand, so he testified for the first time. Now, he's not testified in any of the other trials, so none of the criminal trials he's testifying or planning to testify, because that's potentially incriminating. A lot of people in criminal trials don't testify against themselves.
So I noticed in this, when I read the article, the prosecution spent ages grilling him over the valuations of all his properties, as if it wasn't worth that much to begin with. What I find fascinating about that is they're seeking $250 million. If they know if his properties and everything else is worth more, why don't they push for the 250 or more? You know, why are they so desperate to lowball it? Are they trying to actually find a way to what they believe is bankrupt him?
I think so. I genuinely do think so. I can't imagine that this, again, I've said this a week or so ago, but I genuinely believe that this entire effort, this whole civil fraud trial, is strictly so that they can reduce the potential for Donald Trump to basically create a campaign to do his job.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it is a witch hunt. That's what it. I know that Letitia James has said he'll call this a witch hunt, but this looks like a witch hunt. You don't have to say, you don't have to believe it. It looks like one, straight up.
I mean, very true.
They're also trying to get his. Aren't they trying to get his daughter to take the stand as well?
Yes, so she did actually recently. I can't remember which day. I think it was
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So she did actually end up testifying I can't imagine that it was too like what she had said really helped anybody because I haven't heard anything about it.
So I'd heard that she was going to take the stand, but I had not heard about what was actually going on. If that makes sense. Like I heard nothing. It was one thing that wasn't really mentioned a whole lot over here. I'm kind of curious. How long is this going to go on for, this particular fraud trial? They're going to find him hundreds of millions anyway, so I'm kind of curious here.
I don't know the specific time frame that this is supposed to act within. I think they expect this to be wrapped up, I want to say by December or January.
And then they move on to the next one, yeah?
Yes. Well, if you look at the schedule, it's very, very interesting because they all overlap so perfectly so that he basically has zero time to actually do any campaigning.
Bloody witch hunt.
But don't worry, it's totally above board. Except for, certain more recent news things that I won't go too deep in, lest we get a little.
I know what you're talking about as well. Yeah.
Well, which part? There's two. There's one in Pennsylvania, and then there was another one in, I think it was Connecticut.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about Connecticut.
One of them, somebody was caught on camera doing naughty things.
Yeah.
And the other one was there were issues with some flipping.
Yeah, the
some
flipping.
Ones becoming zeros.
That was the voting fraud, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's the one we knew about because that was Pennsylvania, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember seeing that. I think I might have linked it actually. No, I didn't. No, I barely posted anything. I think I just posted a video of some guy calling a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire clip that cracked me up to no end. The American one that was hilarious. The guy gets asked a question about a bunch of presidents. He says, I'm going to call a friend. He calls his dad and says, Dad, I'm going to win £1 million. And then he gets the question right. I thought it was great. Sorry, dollars, $1 million. Your dollars week.
There was a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire clip that happened in a very similar way. But yes. But anyway, moreover, the situation that we are currently observing, at least with the trial situation.
Which one?
The one that actually had movement recently.
Ah, right. Yes. Okay. Fraud.
Yes. The civil fraud, business fraud trial.
Fraud, you but fraud face.
Yes. Trump and all of his things, it was lies, all of it. Even the bankers, they were all in on it. They're all MAGA. Totally.
Oh, they're chumps. Of course they are. How dare they?
Yeah. So they did a interesting thing because they brought Trump onto the stand.
Yeah.
And they asked him questions.
For a long time.
And they thought for a moment that Trump would just answer the questions.
He's a politician.
Oh, lo, how sadly mistaken they all were.
So I've heard about this. He gets incredibly argumentative.
Not only argumentative, but he starts campaigning from the witness box.
Oh, that takes some. I will admit that takes some balls.
Oh, true. And not only is he campaigning, but he's also calling out and basically telling the judge that he's full of shit.
I mean, he's already been fined by the judge to the tune of 15 grand and other bits.
Well, imagine for a moment that if we were to do something like that, right? If we, the lowly, the popular, the
oik, yeah, oik.
Yeah, the oikery, as you say in most of your videos.
I do, yes, we are the oik.
Yeah, I watch your videos.
Hey, I had someone in my Twitch chat earlier go, do you still upload? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, that explains the 40% drop off in views recently then. YouTube must have changed their algorithm again. Tosses.
Indeed.
I was not happy about that. I was like, well, at least you got a load of stuff to watch over the weekend. Am I right? Yeah.
A bunch. Depends how long. How long it's been.
Well, yes, indeed.
Because they might have multiple days worth to watch.
I'm okay with this.
But anyway, but imagine for a moment, you're the judge. He's arguing with you. He is basically disrespecting you to your face. What are you gonna do?
Well, a lot of judges would. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, a lot of judges would throw you in prison for a bit.
Yeah, they would put you in contempt. Okay, cool. What's that look like when it's an ex-president?
Well, to be honest, with an ex-president, I would always expect that to be a case of, shit, I can't actually do that.
Well, yes, and I think that's what the judge realized as well, because almost anyone would have, been immediately put in contempt for not listening to the judge, not answering questions, being strictly argumentative, or just straight up being an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, any one of us, we would have been thrown in jail.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But they can't. They can't to him. They cannot throw him in jail. Because the sheer annoyance of having to deal with what that would mean. Mm-hmm. Like, how do I figure out, who we're putting in from the Secret Service in the cell with him? Can he interact with other people? You can't put him in solitary. So, like, what do you actually do with a president that you are trying to incarcerate? There's nothing you can do. You're screwed.
He finds him. That's about it, really.
Right. And so now that Trump basically went off and basically shit-talked them all, they kind of were just forced to sit there and take it, which is hilarious. I love it. And yes, one of the transcripts had a long response from Trump, to which the AG just replied with, "Done." Yeah, that was at the tail end, after the lunch break. His testimony from that point forward.
Really?
Which I think is still hilarious.
I'm gonna have to look this up at some point and have a little read. It feels like we need to like another one of those streams like we do with the Mueller report. Just go over that.
That was a lot when we did it last time.
Yes, but with this, it would just be the exchange of Trump campaigning and being a dickhead, which I'm okay with, because this is all still an absolute charade. It's a pantomime of bullshit.
Correct.
They should be ashamed of themselves for this one.
See, I love the pantomime of bullshit.
I do too, but now we know it's intentionally being done to prevent him from running for president. I'm not okay with it.
Oh yes, well, I mean that by itself is absolutely 100% correct. Like what we are currently observing in the in this trial is that the government has zero qualms about making you look like a monster. And will throw everything that they have at you to do so. Mm-hmm. And they don't care about you or what you feel about the situation. Yeah. It's not yours to decide.
Just makes me sense.
But yes.
The judicial system in New York is going to be made a mockery of with this. And he can use all this as ammunition as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just makes it look even more embarrassing. He can control. You want to beat Trump, you can beat him. You don't need to do this to do it, though. You just need to have someone run against him that isn't Biden.
No, that's too hard. That is far too difficult for them.
I'll give the Democrats in this instance some credit. They are committed to the long way round. They really are.
Oh, they 100% are. They want to make this as difficult as fucking possible.
I just bought more mead, by the way.
Oh, good.
More bullet for
because, like Jack Smith in I think the Mar-a-Lago documents case, it was reported recently that he is going to have like a maid testify, mm-hmm. and a um, a woodworker and a plumber all testify from Mar-a-Lago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
What?
Why?
Why?
I don't quite understand what they are. They trying to character assassinate or something? I don't know.
They are trying to basically throw anything against the wall that might stick.
They're kind of it feels like they're looking for something and they don't know what it is.
Yes, yes, you are 100% correct. They are looking for something and don't know what.
Until they see it. It's a bit sus, not gonna lie.
Indeed. But that is what they have. It is shamefully minimal, to say the least. And yeah, they'll throw everything and anything that they have at the wall. Especially Donald Trump's own workers, because God forbid, like, it's a normal person, right? The woodworker, the plumber, the maid, all those people. It sounds like a game of Clue, by the way.
It does a bit, doesn't it? I was about to say, it sounds like
who did it? Was it the maid? The butler?
Who was in the library with the candlestick, eh?
Yeah, who was in Mar-a-Lago with the secret document? Was it the maid? The chauffeur? The woodworker? The plumber? Or was it himself?
It was his shoe polisher called Clarence.
Clarence. My name is Lewis.
This does reek of desperation.
Yes, and
it's a bit embarrassing, really.
Yeah, and that's basically what I was getting to. Like, they don't have a plan. I think they're trying to stall this out so that throughout the next year, while he's trying to campaign, he is wrapped up in something. Like, he is wrapped up in litigation, in court, not on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
I think genuinely that is the plan. But I don't think it's going to work.
No.
Because the Democrats appear not to support Biden all that much.
It's strange. You're part. Well, they're having issues right now because of Israel Hamas. He's taken a very firm stance in favor of Israel, and that rubs a lot of the more progressive Democrats up the wrong way.
Yes, they recently voted to censure Rashida Tlaib.
Did they?
They did. Cory Booker had a absolute shit fit over it.
Why did they censure? I assume because Palach took the side
because
of
she
Hamas.
kept saying shit about basically. She kept making pro-Hamas comments.
There's an American Muslim lady, and she's not a politician. She's very vocal, and I can't remember her bloody name, but she's resurfaced.
Is that the Women's March lady?
I think it is. And she's been reappearing doing pro-Hamas stuff. I saw a video tweeted by libs of TikTok, and someone called Hamas freedom fighters.
Linda Sarsour?
That's it, yeah. And she's resurfaced as well.
What a shame. I thought we were done with her.
I thought we were. And then she resurfaces, and I'm like, fam, where have you been?
She's been under the radar, or worse.
I couldn't remember her name. I'm really sorry for sorry for making you Google that. I couldn't remember her name at all. But there have been a lot of people say have been pro-Hamas. I'm like, you mean pro-Palestine? But being pro-Hamas is probably the worst optics on this.
Yeah, we can be pro-Palestine. Like, I can be pro-innocent civilians.
Oh, I'm 100% pro-innocent civilians, but I'm not pro-Hamas.
But I'm not pro. I'm going to shoot a rocket from a hospital, and then claim it was the other guy when I oopsie daisy it into the hospital.
Yeah, that one's still quite contentious. I've heard about that.
Holy shit.
Oh, I obviously not laughing at what happened, more at the arguments from those. Sorry?
It's really the irony for me.
It is a bit, yeah. I just, if you get in the middle of a university debate, you're going to stand up and say you support Hamas because they're freedom fighters.
God.
Chances, and this, I think it's what it was. I may have to go and I put it in my is it this week at Twitter tab I work on for videos. Nope, that's a Penn student charged for stealing an Israeli flag near a. No, it's ESP, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. I found it. I'll link it to you on our work server below. Oh no, that's not it either. Fuck's sake, where have I put it? Data roaming homelessness. Come on, where you at, you skank? Community lol. Oh, I've lost it already, haven't I? I'll go and get it. It's fine. I know it's on their Twitter. Libs of TikTok put it out and I saw it in passing. It cracked me right up. I can't find it.
Well done.
That's just they tweet out so much as well. It was basically,
oh yes, they do.
I don't usually look at their Twitter that often. It's just something I saw. It'd been retweeted by somebody else I follow, but it was incredibly funny. Just the idea that they're freedom fighters. Like, come on, don't be a dickhead about this.
No, we will be dickheads about this.
Apparently, yes, people will be dickheads about it. Or maybe it's in my liked tweets. I'll look in there. No, it is not. Okay, carrying on. Moving on. Yeah, I'm a boomer. I saw that Marsha Blackburn has announced a subpoena for Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs. Now, this has taken a while to get through to the Judiciary Senate Committee meeting. I get the feeling people involved in this really don't want this information made public because it's going to ruin some careers. What do you think?
Okay. I guess I would have to know a little bit more about it.
So I have a video for this, oddly enough. Basically, it was shared all over Twitter. It's about 6.5 minutes long, though. But there's the video. Marsha Blackburn announced a subpoena for Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs. And I'd assume, many have believed, that this would bring to light clients, yes? Some of those could well be high-ranking officials. Some could be not. Some could be nobodies. But it could be useful information to know. What do you think about that?
True. I have. How do I go through that? Marsha Blackburn being the what? She's American, right?
I would have believed so, yeah.
As Senate Judiciary, yeah. It's just that name sounds remarkably British to me. And I feel like we've talked about that last name here in a different place. Yeah, okay. To be fair, they have it.
Yeah.
They have all the information. I want them to release that information. I've wanted them to release that information since they said that they had it as part of the trial.
Yeah.
It does not shock me to find out that the people who have the most to lose would be the least willing to share that information. I think why they don't want to release it, besides the kid diddling, is also because it will show just how incestuous the relationships between politicians and business leaders and all these pieces, how bad it actually is. And I think they're more concerned about what would happen to the like trust busting or corruption scandals more than, as I believe you say, noncery.
Noncery. Well, yes. Let's go with noncery. That works.
Yes.
YouTube hasn't really cottoned on to what that word means yet in this algorithm. I'm okay with this.
Correct. This is why I said it.
Yes. They certainly partook in the noncing.
Yeah, I mean, we know one guy already sniffs kids.
Yep.
That's not even at this point, like, it's almost a sad joke because it's so obvious.
Yes, it is.
But yes, unfortunately, yes, we have the sniffer in chief, and and I mean, even was it? It was Andrew in the UK.
Prince Andrew, yes.
Yeah.
He's been accused of it.
Right.
He settled a little. I think he did settle though, which is why I get a bit concerned with him.
Well, that's the kind of the hey, I'm going to run away from this instead of having this drawn out in front of people is usually what business or higher ranking folks do if the actual reveal of the information could be detrimental.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I bet you the royal family had a bit of a say in that too.
I wouldn't be surprised. It is quite interesting to me that Prince Andrew now is still trying to beg for money and for position from his brother, who's just turned 75. The king is now 75. And Charles is like, no, you can get the fuck back in your little cottage and enjoy your pathetic existence. He's got not much money left, Andrew, because he's obviously given lots of it away, and when his mum died, he didn't get much. It all went to Charles, to be honest. But he has investments, he just won't sell them. He's an idiot, and he's paying the price for it. Simple as that. While I don't agree he should have to go to your country to stand trial or anything, because, well, we can never get your guys over here to do it, so why the fuck should we return the favour?
I mean, we don't have to do that. You guys can also handle your own people.
Oh, that's true, and I wish we could, but I think royalty is treated in a similar sense to your president, where your judge was very reluctant to even consider contempt.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Well, let's be honest, since he didn't maintain any level of professionalism when he should have used contempt, that would indicate that just makes it look like an even more like a Mickey Mouse court, an unprofessional setting.
Oh, 100%. It's one of those things though that you look at and you go, well, I mean, we kind of already know that this is going on. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's a U.S. problem to have it, especially because it deals in, international situation. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the island was outside of the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, like, it wouldn't even be our jurisdiction necessarily.
True, that is true. It's a tricky one because of jurisdiction, because he was still, in the case of Mr. Steen of Epp, they were in one of your prisons for multiple charges. They were never going to leave that prison alive anyway.
Oh no, not alive.
No, and obviously that was proven true.
Yep.
Under entirely not suspicious circumstances.
Mm-hmm. But like, yeah. The client list would be great if the public knew who they were.
I agree, and in this instance, I think it'd be fucking hilarious to see a bunch of CEOs scrambling to quickly sell off stocks and shares and go hide on their own little private island somewhere.
Well, do you remember when, like, it was like the CFO of Walmart, it was like the COO of like Amazon, and a bunch of other executives suddenly just like ran away from their company, all within the course of like a week.
Well, I know that Bezos is moving to Florida, but that's because he wants to do a space project.
It was in the same time frame where Bill Gates like divorced his wife, and then Jeff Bezos like gave his wife a whole bunch of like money, and then quietly like the CFO of Walmart also left his position. And everyone just kind of went, why is everybody moving all at the same time?
Yes, it's a strange little coinky-dink of relocation.
Yeah, it makes everybody very uncomfortable. Although, and
if you want to plan a divorce and you're in the public eye, plan it around one of those massive controversies, because then no one talks about your divorce.
True.
The optics are in your favor because you can just pass considering how wealthy these guys are, you can just pass unnoticed, which is perhaps better for them optics-wise. Maybe that's why they did it. Although the fact all three did it is very quaint.
Well, the problem is I think they did it the other way around. Like if they were going, giving them the full benefit of the doubt. If all of those people resigned or divorced or sold off stocks because of purely above board reasons, then I feel bad because what it looks like is that they were prepared to pay hush money to keep somebody from not talking about the client list. Because remember, all that information came out in the court, and like the jury knows, the court knows, everybody who is in the courtroom has this knowledge, right? All the lawyers are fully aware, and they won't say anything either.
Yeah.
No one will. Everyone is really hush-hush, which is really impressive given the amount of leaks that we often have in government. This one is really, really good.
Yeah.
And I have to wonder what was said to these people to make them so unwilling to do anything against Epstein.
Well, it does make you wonder, doesn't it?
Oh, it gets the noggin a joggin.
That sounds very familiar.
Yes. But no, yes, I think they should 100% release that list. The public deserves to know that if we are going to be paying people who commit heinous acts, if they are part of brands that we no longer wish to shop at, or we no longer want to have advertisement in, things like that.
Yeah.
We should know that.
So I saw in the news that Biden is going to be meeting Xi Jinping in California to open discussions on reopening military communications.
Yes. It was kind of similar to the situations that you guys were having with France, with the fishing boats.
France are busy calling on Israel to stop killing Gaza women and babies.
Well, again, I think I made a great point. But there was a tweet that I made where somebody was talking about how 40% of all the deaths in Gaza have been children. And I was curious, so I looked up the average or the median age in Gaza. Turns out it's under 18.
Really?
So average, they are 40% for over 50% of the population, which is pretty good shooting.
That is.
Like if you've got a bucket full of like 70% bluefish and 30% redfish, and you only hit like 40% of the bluefish, that's pretty good.
I only brought it up because Macron rarely features in the news over here, and it was just one of those things I saw that kind of partially tickled me. But the military communications, what would be the point to that?
So, based on what I was saying with, it's kind of like what you guys were dealing with England and France, when your boats were getting into each other's faces. We operate in the South China Sea.
Yeah.
We operate near Taiwan. We operate in the Indo-Pacific. This is not news. We have come up on certain situations more than once where Chinese boats have not listened to the hails of our boats for repositioning or course adjustment, and at some points has almost reached the point of firing upon that ship.
Yeah.
When you have a situation where the military of another country is unwilling to have a discussion with your military to avoid conflict, it is the most dangerous game of chicken that could exist. And so it is in everyone's best interest to figure out a way that we could reopen communications so that we don't end up in a firefight by accident.
That's completely fair, to be honest.
And that's why we have that desire to reopen communications. It's because we are in a very dangerous situation, where we've almost gotten involved several times now with Chinese boats. I think they're rather confident to think that their boats could sustain an assault from us.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're very confident.
It's a bit cocky.
Mistaken, but confident.
Yeah.
But yes, that is why we are having that discussion about reopening. We're also, I believe, also trying to reopen negotiations to kind of try to lessen the heat of the situation. Because right now, we have a very, very hot, angry, situation with China.
Yeah.
And any way to get that resolved into a more reasonable place, where people aren't worried about hey guys, how fast can you get to Taiwan? Well, depends. Where are we starting from? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand completely.
Though Shadow Band is correct, China is a bully on the seas. 100% they are. And it's funny because most of their ships are paper.
They're not. No offense. The one. No offense to China. I'm not gonna.
Much offense to China.
Fine. Their seas military presence is dog shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but we're better. Shut up.
Yeah. Us too.
We the Brits. It's in the song. We rule the waves. Oh, I hear cat meowing. You carry on talking.
Meow.
It's a cat.
Yes.
I'm just a bit further away.
No, I hear you. All so far away. But yes, no. China is a bully, and I genuinely think that if we ever got into a conflict, if we ever got into a conflict with them, I actually genuinely 100% believe that we would end up sinking more of their ships than they probably anticipate.
I think it'd be like Russia in Ukraine, where they're just getting beaten the fuck up.
Well, wait, which side? You mean Ukrainians getting beat up?
No, well, Russian. Look how many generals they lost because their tactics are dog shit. Their soldiers are made of paper. That kind.
Oh yeah. Well, remember, a lot of their fighting force wasn't even Russians.
Yeah.
It was a lot of other randos.
I'm not trying to oversell or overstate British military might, but on the sea we rule it.
Oh yeah, and you guys have managed that very well.
Yeah, we've done all right.
Now I will say, it is now time, for the British to start harumphing a little bit more and start flexing a little bit more.
Our Prime Minister too pussy whipped.
A hot topic right now in the U.S. is how much are we doing and how much are other countries doing, and why are we seemingly the only ones who fucking get involved?
Yeah, you're the world police.
Yeah, but if we dropped out of if we follow through with Donald Trump's desire to fuck off out of NATO, what would you do? What would the UK do? What would France and Germany do? What would all the EU do? They'd fucking bitch and moan.
I have no idea what the EU would do, but UK would probably they would do what they normally do and say, "We seek a peaceful resolution." That's pretty much it.
Well, yes, quite. But peaceful resolution to what? Because if we just leave NATO, you don't actually have a conflict.
Oh, I know, but peaceful resolution to forge a new bond with you guys.
Oh, well, then you can peacefully resolve to spend money.
Yeah. That's pretty much all we will do. It's what the UK does. It's all we've got.
Well, I mean, because genuinely, because of the conversation around Israel Palestine, this topic has become much more to the forefront. And people have been genuinely asking, and for good reason, why it is that the U.S. is the person that they go to every fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, why is Zelensky crying that he won't hold elections in his country unless we, give him money? Why is it like, oh, if the U.S. doesn't give us money, we won't be stable enough to hold elections this year? I'm sorry, what? You what? What are you talking about? That is the most bullshit thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, no.
Yeah, so I don't like it.
I'm not so. Yeah, no, I don't like it either. Now, based on when we started, I'm inclined to believe we annoyingly have reached the end of the show. Because it was an hour if you ignore the 7 minutes earlier.
Oh, the 7 minutes that
Yeah. I believe you have to go and pick up somebody.
I do.
Okay, so we're going to end this now. I'm really sorry to those who are watching. It's ending a little bit early today. There is a reason. It's because apparently I'm a boomer. Shocker, I know. Are you here next week, Trups?
I don't think so. No, I'm not.
Very well. I get to stream more on Kick, more Assassin's Creed, and drink more mead.
Woo!
I know, right? I'll have more mead next week as well. Even better. Thank you everyone for being here. We really appreciate it. We shall be back in a couple weeks' time. Hope to see you all then. Actually, we will be here next week anyway because my friend Dave's here. So actually, it's better that we don't do it next week, so then I don't have to listen to him in my ear at the same time. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you in a few weeks' time.